down, get up. Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs on the practice field yesterday for the first time. Very first play of camp. Mahomes completed a deep ball to Xavier Worthy. Will that be a harbinger of things to come? The Chiefs struggled with the long ball last year. Improving that is a huge point of emphasis this year.
For me, I got to be better at throwing the ball down the field. I mean, obviously, that we weren't good enough there. If teams are going to challenge us to throw the ball deep, we have to show that we can do that. And if we can do that, it first starts with me and giving guys chances. But if we can do that, I think it's going to really open up the offense and make us a better team in general. You see with the rest of the AFC West, the rest of the AFC and the NFL is everybody's getting better. So we have to get better.
All right, so two things. One, his energy is at mid-season form, right? Like he's just right there and ready to go. Second, people forget, despite the fact that this team won 15 out of the 16 games it tried to win in the regular season last year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they just they didn't try in the last game. They're 15-2, but that one doesn't count.
Right.
And then won 2 playoff games. Their offense was pedestrian, to say the least. Why should we think it is going to be so much more explosive, as he is saying this year?
Well, see, what Patrick's not saying right there is like, hey, man, you know what? I need to get the ball down the field a little bit more, but last year I couldn't. You know why? So I was getting my skull caved in on both sides because our pass protection on the perimeter stunk. Okay, it's that simple. They couldn't throw the football down the field because they didn't want to get him hurt. So they were just trying to manufacture offense, and he did a good job of doing what he needed to. But see, he knows this. He also knows that you can't be 31st in the NFL in terms of passer rating on plus 20-yard throws down the field and win at the highest level the way they're accustomed to doing. Otherwise, it gets exposed like it was in the Super Bowl. So what did they do? They went out and drafted, to me, the best tackle in the college football, in Josh Simmons. He has to be on the football field, and he has to play like he played the first month of the season for Ohio State last year, which was the best tackle in football, period. And I like Will Campbell from LSU. Josh Simmons was the best tackle in football. If they can get that production out of him, they just paid Trey Smith. Xavier Worthy has to show what he showed in the second half of the Super Bowl just this past year. Kansas City's going to be fine because overall this roster is better than it was last year when they tried to win and won 16 games.
Yeah, and they went and got Jalen Moore, too, I think is another offensive lineman in case the rookie doesn't work out. That'll really help bolster the protection. But I do think that anytime you're playing offense as a defensive player, the explosive plays are what you're worried about. That's the first concern is 1-play drives, 3-play drives. That is demoralizing. If you don't have that if you're not at least concerned about it, it'll break down the rest of your offense because we can do whatever we want on the defense because if we guess wrong and you gain 5 or 6 yards, we'll live to fight another day. If we guess wrong and you get 50 and the touchdown, it's over. And they didn't have that threat last year because of the protection and because some of their receivers helped. But now they're all healthy and they're going to protect Mahomes, and it could be ugly.
So last month, I went to Kansas City, sat down with Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. We talked about upcoming docuseries, The Kingdom, and the disappointment of the Super Bowl in particular. And one of the things that struck me was Andy Reid saying, I was really interested to see how the coaches and the players would come back this offseason. Would they take accountability? Would they be looking for ways in which that they could improve? See how they not failed, but how they didn't meet their standard. And he said, I was impressed because everybody came back the same way. So we're laughing at Patrick Mahomes and the enthusiasm. It's because they got their teeth knocked in the Super Bowl, and they said, not again. I think this year, Travis he regressed last year. He also is recommitted to his craft and saying, I can't be what I was last year. And Andy Reid knows that. I think health of the wide receivers is also going to be key.
Mike Tannenbaum sat here the other day and he said this year's Kansas City Chiefs would beat last year's Kansas. The team they're going to put on the field this year would beat the team they put on the field last year by 10 points. You buy that?
Yeah, because they'll be able to manufacture more points. As Dom says, look, every defense tells you all the time, make them drive the ball 9, 10, 11 plays because the odds of something going wrong for them go way up. Let them score on one big shot, and all of a sudden now you can't do anything. Xavier Worthy is the key. You saw how he played in the second half of the Super Bowl last year. When he started this tape, look, they had nothing to lose, and they just started launching it. That's the dude he has to be. And it's cool that they showed that here early on in training camp. The first pass that he throws, he takes another deep shot. I mean, this guy runs 4.21.
Yeah,
you got to send him down the field. But in order for him to get down the field, you got to protect your quarterback.
He ran what was at the time the fastest 40 in the history of the Combine. Now, the problem that Chiefs may have this year, and you heard Mahomes reference it, is the division is getting better. Everyone's talking about the Broncos. Everyone is talking about the Chargers. But Pete Carroll reminds us we should also be talking about the Raiders. Pete, talk to me.
We're gonna win a ton. We're gonna win a bunch of games. There ain't nothing. I can't even imagine anything. I've been winning 10 games a year for 20 years or something. I mean, what are my expectations? We're gonna win a bunch, and I don't care. Who hears that? I mean, it doesn't matter to me. It ain't about what anybody hears. It's about what we do.
What do we think?
Okay, they're going to win a lot of games. Yeah, okay, great. I'm sold. I mean, he has to say that. He also is responsible for building a new culture there as well. And part of that is the expectation, like, we are going to win games. But it's a new head coach, a new quarterback, new players, everything about the Raiders. I'm intrigued because we don't know what the heck they're going to look like. But I think it's on paper wishful thinking to say that the Raiders are clearly gonna challenge the Chiefs for the division. We don't know. We don't know. We got to see it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, look, I think with every football team, come November and December, you can just write it down that on these rundowns, we're going to be talking about the teams that are controlling the line of scrimmage and rushing the passer are going to be the teams that we're going to be talking about the most.
Right.
And for the Raiders, that's exactly what it's going to come down to. Can this offensive line come together so where Ashton Genty can be a 1,400-plus yard rusher? Because if he is, and Pete's going to give him enough touches, Chip Kelly's going to give him enough touches, then the Raiders are going to be right there. The problem, though, is that the Broncos are bad now in a good way. The Chargers are too, and the Chiefs are already better. So now you may look, I don't think you're winning 10 games.
But that's why I like Pete saying it. Like, the whole world is saying it's a great division and the Raiders. And he's telling his team, no, we're not living that way. We're going to go out there, we're going to kick these guys behind.
When I hear the Raiders name, I think about the old Raiders, but then I look at the roster, and they actually are a lot more talented than I normally think about the Raiders. Pete Carroll is the type of coach that I think brings a new culture change. He does win 10 wins, or he does have 10 wins often. Unfortunately, his last 3 years with the Seahawks, he had 9, 9, and 7. So the question is, with his age, is he going to still be able to bring that energy?
9 would be a pretty good step forward for this team.
No question.
In what I think is the best division in the entire react out of the corner of my eye. What was that reaction?
I mean, it just was, it's obvious to me that he's giving the media and the fans something to grab onto, which, like, he understands how it works. He knows what we want to hear, but it backfires. Like, that always backfires. It seems to me that what he needs to be focused on, and he probably is focused on these things, but he's telling us another thing. But it just is it's a scary thing to hear when your quarterback is coming out there telling everybody his statistical goals.
Yeah, I'm not going to assume that he's focused on those things, though, just because Ben Johnson said them. I mean, I want to hear Caleb Williams say the fact that, hey, you know what? I'm not going to talk about being the first 4K passer. I'm not going to talk about 4,000 yards. I'm not going to talk about 25, 30 passes, whatever over-unders you want to put on TV. I'm not going to talk about none of that. What I am going to talk about is the fact that, guess what? Ben Johnson and my quarterback coach sat me down and said, this is how we're going to watch film. This is how we're going to start practice. This is what I want you to concentrate on 3, 5, and 7-step drop. This is how the routes are going to distribute. This is how it's going to convert against cover 2, against cover 3. These are the things that are going to help you go bing, bang, boom. To the next thing you know, you got a 300-yard game, a 400-yard game, a 275-yard game, no sacks, no unnecessary sacks, throw the ball away. Talk about the process.